Tony Lewis has been active in the Charleston community for many years, including being a chairman for the District 20 Constituent School Board. Now, Tony wants to be the next member of the Charleston County School Board to represent District 20. I speak exclusively to Tony for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Tony Lewis, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Good morning, Mr. Quintin Washington. It's always great being in your presence.
I appreciate it greatly, as always. I know that obviously you posted this recently on your Facebook page.
Yes, sir.
You said this quote, "A true public servant and a community activist has arrived back on the academic scene." I understand, obviously, you are a Charleston County School Board candidate,
Yes,
and if elected, you will represent the District 20 area downtown.
Yes, sir.
You say that you are a true and public servant and a community activist, and that you have arrived back on the academic scene. What is that academic scene right now in Charleston County?
Well, I don't feel like all the kids in District 20 and the parents and the communities and the stakeholders are being heard through the leadership. No fault of the leadership, and nothing shooting down the leader who was there now, but I don't feel like their words and their voices being heard, because you can see from the dynamics, you can see from the digraphics, you can see from how the academic year was, and we need much more presence of a public servant and a board member to go into schools and engage with the principals and ex-principals and the staff and the parents and the community and the stakeholders, but in the make sure our scholars and students in District 20 is successful.
What are the dynamics right now, Tony?
Well, it's not well, because you can see by the grades, the passing of grades in the schools, the school's still down in the low performance and all this. So it got to be a missing component there, that these scholars and students are still in this same shambles, same low improvement, in the schools.
Well, let me ask you this. How many gaps are there in the South Carolina Ready test scores?
Wow. I'll be honest with you, I didn't check that out, and I will research that, and again, that's on my fault. Yeah, it's on my fault.
No worries. Let me ask you this too. How many students, say for instance, at Burke High School who are over age?
Wow. I say you got about 5%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many students at Burke are meeting or exceeding the college readiness pathway benchmarks in your mind?
Not many. Not many at all. Because as I said, that I was a former board member, I saw a lot of them was kind of struggling, because, well, again, we have to put the right leaders, right fit in these schools to make sure these scholars have be academically ready for the world. And you've been in Burke before. What exactly is the student engagement there? It's not good. Not good. Because I heard from a young lady yesterday who graduated. I'm gonna call her name, and she said to me, Mr. Lewis, she said, our leader there now didn't have our best interests at heart. And I couldn't believe her when she said that. She said, because you gotta always understand, these scholars and students pay attention to people who care about them. They can tell if you care about them or you don't. You have an ulterior motive. And I was told yesterday that the leaders there now, no fault of hers, that didn't have their best interests at heart.
Does the school district have the best interests of Burke High School?
I don't think so. Because if you did, you'll make sure you have every component, every tool, resources there to make sure they're academic compliant. Because this is the only high school on the peninsula. And not only that, back when Nancy McGinley was there, I went and talked to Bourne to get $1 million to put trade back in Burke, so these kids who can't excel in academics, they can excel otherwise, okay? To be early learning entrepreneurs. So when they graduate school, they can start their own business and be early entrepreneurs and owning their own business. And not only owning their own business, they can grab these scholars and students. When they come out of school, if they don't go to college, then they can hire them and And that's what the plan was. But she sent the money to store.
How many trades programs do you want to grab from other schools and bring it to Burke?
Well, I don't want to grab none. I want Burke to have them. That's what I want. Because, again, we went and spoke to Bowen and got $1 million and got witness. Reverend Ed McLean and his daughter Katrina McLean was there when I asked for that $1 million. And the man complied. He said, no problem. I found out Mr. Wilson, Kim Wilson, the principal, said yes. He told some guy in an interview session, he said, yes, Mr. Lewis got us $1 million. So that $1 million was supposed to go to Burke High School. And if we had put that $1 million in Burke, how much early entrepreneurs could have been built from that? And we already spoke to contractors. The contractors were coming in and we was going to pay them a stipend to educate these young scholars and students about early entrepreneur and their craft.
And let me get back to you, because obviously you said this too in your Facebook page. You said this quote: to my family, Facebook family, friends, business friends, parents, grandparents, guardians, and stakeholders. I'm back from the ashes like a phoenix. And I'm actually ready to fight for the scholars and students' academic life. Well then, Tony, what's the academic life for District 20 right now?
It's not good. It's not good. And I want to make sure, give an opportunity, blessing from the heavens, and the voters, and as I said, the voters and supporters, that I will make sure District 20 be heard, not be heard, be put up there where they need to be on the academic level. Right, just like any other high school.
Well, what's the academic level right now, say, for District 20?
It's not good. I think it's still down. I think it's really down. In all due respect to Mr. Nick Nelson, Nick did a great job over at Simmons Pinckney. But Nick didn't get the support and the tools and resources he needed, because he spoke to me, told me, said he didn't get what he needed, but he did what he did the best he could, and he did a great job, because a lot of his scholars and students graduate this year going from Burke.
And what was the graduation rate for Simmons Pinckney?
I don't remember. I know it was pretty high. It was pretty high.
Now, you talk about the tools and resources that Simmons Pinckney need. What exactly are those right now?
First of all, they need to have a true leader who's going to take the school in the right direction. Okay? They need a staff that's going to be there to help implement the tools and resources that they get from the district so they can go forward. Meaning in their academics. Okay? Making sure the ones who are not getting it, who's in a shortfall, stay right there and help them, push them in the right direction by sitting there and helping, forming them where they're short at, where their shortcomings at.
What are the shortcomings for this school?
Simmons Pinckney?
Yes, sir.
Well, I think it was I think it was kind of math and EIA and EIL and science, I believe it was.
Okay.
But Mr. Nelson, like I said, he did a great job of what he had. You know, he worked with, and he, like I said, he asked for some support and help, but never got it. So that's why he left.
Now, how would you work with the new leader for Simmons Pinckney?
Well, I'll go there and sit down with her, engage with her, and ask her to engage with her staff and find out what the tools and resources they need to get in there. And I will go and work along with Dr. Postaway and the rest of the colleagues and give an opportunity to be on the board to make sure that Simmons Pinckney get what they need. Because again, these are our future leaders. We have to make sure the academic climate is not. We have more problems in the streets.
Now, how many inclines are you looking at when it comes to District 20 in academics?
Incline? I'm looking at a lot of them. Looking at Sanders Clyde.
Okay.
Got Meminger.
Sure.
You got some other ones. You got Sanders Clyde, Meminger. Progressive was doing pretty good.
Sure.
James Simmons is doing pretty good.
Sure.
But most likely I want to see like Sanders Clyde, Meminger, and Simmons Pinckney, because again, when they come out of these schools, they go over to Simmons Pinckney, and then from Simmons Pinckney to Burke. So you got to make sure they're academic ready.
Academic ready. But what's your comprehensive plan?
My comprehensive plan is to make sure, as I said again, to go and delegate with the going to engage with the principal and the staff, sit down with them in a private meeting and engage with them, find out what their needs are, go back to Dr. Postlewaite and my colleagues and say, listen, this is what we need to do for Simmons, Pinckney, and these other schools to excel. Okay, this is what they need. See, you're not telling them what they need. They know what they need. So when we try to delegate and tell them what they need, instead of giving them what they need, and it's different, they're not going to change. Because see, you got to always understand, they're in the trenches. They're in the school. You know, we're board members. We are out and about doing other things, but in the district, you know, they're doing their thing, trying to make sure they do all the school for the game. You got to talk with the principal and the staff and find out what the needs of these scholars and students and try to accommodate them so they can be academic inclined.
Well, then, what educational models do you hope the Charleston County School District will use for those particular underperforming schools in District 20?
Well, you know, I tell you, I've always admired Charleston Development Academy.
Sure.
I would love for them to adopt, engage with, have like I said, the scholars and students, well, not the scholars, let me rephrase that. The staff and the principal of these schools are shortfalls and engage with Charleston Development Academy and see how they're designing their tools and resources and how they're developing leaders when they come out of those schools. Because they're doing a great job.
And you talk about, obviously, the schools. Let me ask you this. How should incentive bonus pay to teachers look like for those failing schools in District 20?
Well, again, those teachers are not getting the right pay. They should be paid real well. But you should pay them by the way your scholars excel. It's no fault of the teachers. They're just working for what's given to them. Okay? Again, like I said, when you sit down and engage with the principal and the staff, find out what they need, then you can have successful scholars. The teachers can do their job when they got all the resources and the tools they need. Okay, not giving them, as I said again, not giving them what you think they need, give them what they need. Okay, what's the need of these scholars and students so they can excel? But the teachers shouldn't be getting paid, you know.
And what should the teachers need right now at Sanders Clyde, Memringer, Charleston Progressive Academy, James Simmons?
Well, they need support and resources. Support and resources. Don't come and tell me, as I said again, don't come and tell me what you think I need. Give me what I need to be successful. And if you do that, I think all these schools will be lift up way up. All will come up. And don't forget the community, stakeholders, parents, guardians, grandparents. Don't forget about them. We all work together. We all work together from the board members' perspective, superintendent, principal, staff, parents, grandparents, guardians, stakeholders, and community. We can have successful scholars and students. But we all working together, because then if we all work on one accord, then guess what? Them scholars and students have to jump on board with us.
Now, what is exactly the teacher retention rate at Sanders Clyde Elementary?
Well, I said about, again, I didn't do that research, and I'm dumbfounded at that fact, per se, but I'll do my homework on that.
And let me turn to curriculum, Mr. Tony. What type of curriculum would you advocate for, say, for Buse Academy?
Well, Buse Academy has successfully. So I think we're put enough in Buse Academy. Buse Academy is doing great right now.
What curriculum does Burke High School need?
As I said, Burke High School needs things that are going to help all scholars be successful. As I said, all kids, all scholars, students are not going to be academic inclined. Some going to be hands-on, some going to be academic inclined. And I think being put trade in there, that would enhance the academics. Because now you got them doing something they like, and then they will want to excel, and because they're going to take different things like math, science, and things like that to deal with different academics in whatever trade.
How should the Charleston County School District, in your mind, replicate those results from meeting street schools to use in some of these underperforming schools in District 20?
Well, again, I think they need to sit down and just look at models of different schools that is being successful and try to imitate what they're doing in the schools. Again, it's like Beach Street Academy, sir. It's doing a great job. It's doing such a great job. You know, they're building a new school up there on Dorchester Road for them.
Right.
You know, so again, we got to see what they're doing right. There's nothing wrong with going and ask for assistance and help. And I think these folks will be glad to assist you, knowing that a scholar or student is being academic inclined. Okay?
Now, I know you talked earlier about obviously students who, you know, learn hands-on and other students who learn differently.
Right.
Let me talk to you about what's going on right now. Obviously, there's a debate over whether kids should go back to school face-to-face or should they go back virtually.
Right.
Would a virtual until safe for modified instruction approach be ideal for the District 20 students, Tony?
Yeah, it would be. But you got to make sure they have, again, the tools and resources, meaning the internet. And because right now we're in a bad position right now with this pandemic. And here, give you an example. There was some kids went to school. I remember school, and 116 of them now in quarantine. Okay, so why would we see kids? See, we can say we're going to send them back, but kids are different. Kids going to interact with each other. Kids are going to be moving around and all this. So it's not going to work. Putting them back in school. You got to wait till this pandemic come down some, level out some, and then you can send them back in there. But now, and if you do send these scholars and students back, you can send these scholars and students back out there in that situation. Then they're going to come home and make their family sick. Okay? So again, you got to think about that twice. You just can't think about it only from the perspective of your president and your governor. See? You can't. So you got to look at it from the whole dynamics of if I send my daughter or my son back to school, is they going to bring this virus back to me? See? So you got to look at that in two ways.
What way are you looking when it comes to broadband for those kids who need it on Line Street, Always Street?
Well, you got to, again, you should reach out to like Xfinity and talk to them, engage with them folks like that with these internet services and see how they would accommodate and work with you. And I think they really would. Matter of fact, I was going to reach out to Xfinity, Comcast, and see how they can collaborate and work along with the districts in Charleston County, mainly District 20, to see how they can accommodate these scholars and students with the internet in their homes, and so it can be available for them.
And let me get back to the classroom, Tony. What is your proposal for closing that achievement gap?
My proposal for meening, as I said, you have to have all the right tools and resources in place. Okay? You have to. Because if you don't have them all in place, then it's nothing going to work. You got to have folks who are going to help implement those plans and those tools and resources that these scholars need. Just like you said, you got to, for example, you got a scholar who's student shot in math. Well, you get there and work with that scholar student in that math area so he can pull it up. Okay? We have to work with them. All right? We have to go. Matter of fact, you got to do something to gain their attention. So that's why I've been saying about the shop, you know, about those kind of things. See, if you bring that kind of stuff back in there, all these trades, then you're making them using this and hands, and now you're winning.
And let me get back to the broadband. I forgot to ask you this. But what hotspots in District 20 are needed right now for internet access?
Well, I think you need it on these housing areas, because a lot of these housing folks don't have it. Public housing don't have it because their resources limited. Okay, because if their resources were limited, they wouldn't need to ask nobody to put it in their homes or in properties. So we got to make sure we have to make sure we go in these public housing, make sure they're equipped with the internet and the broadband. Because if they ain't equipped with the broadband and the internet, it's a losing situation.
And let me get back to you. Obviously, you, as you mentioned, are a public servant and a community activist. Who else is Tony Lewis?
Well, he's a man, he's very outspoken. He will be a voice, as they say, a strong voice for the scholars, the students, the parents, the grandparents, the guardians, staff, the community, and the stakeholders that would get things done, or working along with his colleagues to gain that support that they need.
You talk about those stakeholders. What is your relationship right now like with the District 20 Constituent School Board?
Oh, that's pretty good. I don't have a problem with that. I think I can engage with them.
How would you engage with them, such as issues like broadband and obviously closing the achievement gap?
Well, I would go sit down with them, and again, I would sit down with them and engage with them, and let's set up a meeting with the chair and the vice chair of the District 20 board, and along with the staff in these schools and the teachers, the principal and the staff in the schools, and find out what their needs are. See, if we find what their needs are, then we can accommodate them, and we can close this achievement gap. If we find out what's their needs.
And what needs does Burke need right now to prevent them from being shut down?
Well, Burke needs, first of all, Burke, no, like I said again, no disrespect to the leader they have now, but you have to have a strong voice. You have to be able to gain the attention of these scholars. You have to work along with your staff that you have and get the right fit for these schools. Mainly Burke. See? So you just can't just go put somebody in Burke. You got to get somebody in there who have a strong voice, who's going to demand what he or she wants in these schools. See?
Tony Lewis, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.